Man, this is lifestyles of the poor and unfucking fortunate. But I tell you what, but bitch, we got views.
Chucky took him a shot. He ain't drank in a minute, have you?
I could not tell you the last time.
The bottle that he opened to pour that shot in, he said he got how many years ago?
I want to say it was for my 25th birthday, but it was probably my 28th birthday.
Really?
Yeah, I'm 31 now. Maybe it was my 25th because I've had it for years. Like, I've moved multiple houses and kept that same bottle. Like, I used to enjoy the oils quite a bit. I used to indulge, but
is that something that you gave up whenever you was doing your weight loss stuff? Was that part of the
inadvertently? Like, it wasn't something that I was like, I gotta cut. You know, like at that point, I already wasn't drinking very heavily. Yeah. I was really drinking heavily when I was single and not doing much, but just trying to be a rock star.
Have a lot, didn't have a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was my job to go entertain the people at the bars. You know what I mean? Like, somebody's got to be there drinking, trying to sing karaoke and meet people, connect. You know what I mean? So I was like, it might as well be me. Right. Otherwise, these girls might not have jobs. Right. You know what I mean? These bartenders, they might go home. Yeah. They might not come back tomorrow with a new job if people like me weren't in there frequenting their establishments. Yeah. But yeah, I just kind of grew out of that phase. It was just a young. I think we all kind of go through it. You know what I mean?
For sure, dude. Everybody. Yeah.
And Nashville was just starting to blossom and bloom at the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I remember thinking like, there's no way this growth is going to sustain.
Yeah. Now it's like,
here we are.
Let's go back to that.
Yeah, I wish I'd have bought a house then. Yeah. I remember thinking like, these prices are insane. Yeah.
No, used Altima from 2004 is worth $34,000.
Even that, damn, yeah. Leroy, I'm only going to bring this up because Leroy will bring it up, but I gave him a used Altima that at the time was probably not worth very much. But post-pandemic, dog, I essentially gave that boy a Bitcoin, a full Bitcoin.
Yeah, shout out Leroy. That is
Leroy.
Great.
That's my guy right there, Mr. Biggs. We got to do I got more music on the way with him, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my guy.
So yeah, man, ChadArmesTV, we are here in the humble abode of Mr. Chucky Velvet.
Whatever you want to call me, just don't call me late for dinner, you know?
Yeah, man. Speaking of that, we just had some fire pizza.
Some good pizza.
For that. Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, because people always are like, man, with this crazy diet, like I still eat pizza. You know what I mean? It's just everything in moderation now. Yeah. Whereas before, even with like the drinking, before was very not so in moderation, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just with years, everything in moderation, you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Except for the hustle, that's got to go.
Right.
That's got to always go, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Always.
So, there's a lot of facets to Chucky V. There's just Chucky V the person. There's Chucky V the jewelry enthusiast, the jeweler. Would you call yourself? So how does I don't want to mislabel you with the jewelry.
No, you're good.
Facilitation.
So, I say that trying to be humble. It's one of those things like, when do you call yourself a rapper? Is it when you're aspiring to be a rapper, or is it after you've made your first song, or is it after you've made your first hit? Like, you know what I mean? So with jewelry, it's like I'm not physically hands-on making it, so I normally say I facilitate it because I'm friends with a lot of people that are hands-on making jewelry. Yeah. And it's a craft, just like writing a song or producing a beat, you know what I mean? So it'd be like me playing the radio and then saying that I make beats, you know what I mean? So I try to tread lightly out of respect for those people, you know what I mean? But like the bench jeweler that I used, that was really like I thought I was gonna get into making jewelry. Like I thought like, oh, I'm artistic, like this would be cool, trade to like physically learn, you know? Mm-hmm. And then I realized like I'd meet somebody that had done it for 20 years and it's like they're just, not that they're just getting good, but it's like they're just carving their line. It's just like doing music, you know what I mean? Like you gotta put 10,000 hours in, you know what I mean? And I was like trying to facilitate orders right away. So I was like, I don't got 10 years to wait to maybe, you know what I mean? So I just went and found somebody that had been in as long as Johnny Dang has, you know what I mean? Like a 45-year vet to the thing. And, you know, so I've got 60, 70-something-year-old Vietnamese dude that is the hands-on, actual bench jeweler for me. And I just facilitate the orders, you know what I mean? So I like to, I mean, I don't really know what I'd call myself, Chad. You know what I mean? I don't have a business card for the same reason. Right. Because I don't know what to put on it. So it's like, I just like to facilitate custom orders for now, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and so that's a facet. You do music?
I do music, man.
You're a gun enthusiast?
Gun enthusiast.
Yeah.
Not one of the crazy ones. Like, I don't walk around downtown with like an open carry trying to like prove a point.
Show
you know what I mean?
everybody I have a
Yeah,
weapon.
nah, none of that. I'm not that guy. I'm not like involving politics in it. Like, I do think that you should know what's going on with your rights as a gun owner and a gun user, and as an American, what you're allowed to do. Because a lot of places don't have that freedom. So I'm an enthusiast in that manner, but I'm not somebody that's like, this is all right, and I'm gonna prove it to you. You know what I mean? It's like I keep that thing on me. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
all the time. What up? You know what I mean? Just all the time, ready.
Yeah.
You know, unless they're physically beep 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 checking me, then I've got it on me. You know, if there's signs, I've got it on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they're just doing the like nice little, I've got it on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if my kids aren't welcome or my gun's not welcome, then I'm usually not there.
Right.
That's a good thing to keep in mind with Chucky V. If you're like, yo, we're having this thing, kids aren't welcome, it's like, all right, well, my kid, like, if I'm not working, my kids are with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, before we did this interview, we hung out with my kids. You know what I mean? It's like,
No, for sure.
So same with a gun. People are like, hey, I'm having this thing, but you can't bring a gun. There's security. It's like, who is the security?
Yeah.
Who is this security? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is sad. You know what I mean? It didn't used to be like that. I used to be able to feel safe in places, and not just like me. Like, it's not like because I have some status or stature or something like that I don't feel safe. But with every day, R.I.P. P&B Rock.
Oh yeah, man. That just happened.
It's just more and more common every day. You know what I mean? Like, L.A., wherever it is. You know what I mean? Like, I go to Oscar's Taco Shop right there on Fessler's Lane, like almost weekly. And somebody just got shot right in the parking lot there like 3 days ago. And it's just like, it doesn't matter where you, you know what I mean? Like, there's always people being crazy. Like, that's why I'm so pro-gun. It's like, I'm not pro-gun, like, to try to hurt people. I'm pro-gun to protect myself and those around me. You know what I mean? Like, first and foremost. Like, I don't know. Somebody that I really look up to told me that having a gun, it should be like your private parts. Like, everybody should know you have it, but nobody should see it. Nobody, you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't just be out.
It.
Yeah, like if you've got it out, it's you and a consenting person know about it, or it's shit has hit the fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, you're out shooting, or like we're here talking about a gun, but like, because you're in an argument, you shouldn't just, oh, look, you know what I mean? Like, that, guns and training, I think, should go hand in hand. I was very pro guns before I was pro training for many years. And I think if you own a gun, you need to be training and understand how to use the gun, understand how to keep it safe in your home. Your kids should know about guns. My son is 2.5. As soon as he sees me put my gun on in the morning, not a toy, not a toy. You know what I mean? Like, it's if you own a gun and you take it out once every October and you shoot a can with your uncle on your farm, that's cool. But also, like, that's not going to prepare you if shit hits the fan. Like, you need to know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, the same way that, like, if you've got a random task at work, like figuring out how to type this email, how to word it, all that stuff, like, that could take 10 minutes or it can take 30 seconds if it's something that you do on a regular basis. Like, loading your gun, making your gun safe, shooting, all of these things should be in that manner. You know what I mean? It should be like second nature, like, in case of an emergency. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like, what's the code to my safe? And then do I put it in, and you know what I mean? Like, you want it to be comfortable. Like, if people rob your house or people are going to rob you at gunpoint, they're not going to give you a minute to think about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be you know what I mean? So it's like, you just need to be trained and be proficient in what you're going to be doing. You know what I mean? And especially if you're going to carry a gun, God bless, you need to be proficient with it. I see so many videos of people like accidentally shooting themselves, or like doing one of these, one of these, and you know what I mean? It's just like, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't like guns for any of the stupid stuff, you know what I mean? But I like guns for
the reasons you're supposed to.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
So let's start the interview off like we know, because we'll keep all this in there. But let's start off from like growing up. So are you from here originally, or were you?
No, man. So my father's a minister. He's a pastor. So we kind of grew up all over. I was born in South Carolina. Then I moved to Rome, Georgia. Then I moved to Memphis, Tennessee. That was like first and second grade. Then I moved to back to Rome, Georgia. Then I moved to Baltimore, Maryland, and that's where I say I grew up, because I moved to Baltimore when I was in like 5th grade, and stayed there until college. And in college, I moved back down to Tennessee, to Jackson, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And went to school there for 4 years, and then after that I moved to Texas for a year or two to help open up a food truck and a restaurant with a buddy. And then really moved to Nashville because my brother was here, and him and his family lived here, and they were about to move and go out of the country for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So I really just wanted to be near my brother and near my nephews and stuff like that, since they're moving out of the country.
Yeah.
So I moved to Nashville just really like on a whim, like talked to them, found out they were moving, put in like a 1-month notice at work or a 2-month notice at work, because I'd helped a buddy start a food truck, and we had flipped it into a restaurant, and it was going really good. So moved to Nashville like kind of on a whim. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Kind of on a whim, just really quickly, and that was in like 2015, I guess, 2014 maybe, and moved here and haven't looked back since, man. When I first moved here, I did music, but it was like, that is not why I came here. You know what I mean? Like I didn't come here like in the pursuit of that. But like in college and stuff like that, like I did some shows, and that was like really when I first got into music. You know what I mean? Because like I would like, I would freestyle and stuff like that. And in high school, I always wanted to be a rapper. I always wanted the jewelry. Like ever since I was a child. Like every Christmas photo of me, I've got a big, gaudy, fake one of these bad boys on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now the childhood me's, or now that I've got the real one, but had a fake gaudy watch on, and I'd beg my parents for it, even though I'm super allergic to like nickel or whatever's in like the fake stuff. So some people, it like turns them green. Bro, my shit would like break out red hives. You know what I mean? Like, and I'd beg please let me get a chain. Please. And I mean, that was every year, bro. Like so many family photos. It's like normal family photos, and then you got like a little Chucky V, like trying to like flex a watch or like flex a big gaudy eagle pendant. You know what I mean? So that was always me. I always wanted to be a rapper. I just never thought it was possible. You know what I mean? It was always just like, oh, that'd be great. That's like my secret thing I'd love to do. You know what I mean? But then in college, I randomly met this dude at a party freestyling, and he was like a super hood dude. Like I went to a real private Christian college. You know what I mean? Like real preppy kids, stuff like that. So even like a party there was not like a party, you know what I mean? Like not like a real college party. But this super hood dude was there, and he's like, bro, they say you rap. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, man, I got songs on the radio right now. He had songs like on the Jackson radio. He was popping, you know what I'm saying? So he's like, man, freestyle something for me. So I like freestyle a little bit. He's like, man, come and cut a song with me this week. And I was like, for real? And he's like, yeah, man, come cut a song with me. So like on Thursday or Friday, I go and cut a song with him. And we cut the song. I thought it was super dope. They thought it was super dope. And this is Q, by the way. His name is Quinnell.
Okay.
That's my guy, Car Money. And he's from Jackson and Cali, all these different places. But cut the song with him and this dude named T.O., who, shout out T.O. as well. That's my guy, man. He's definitely still making beats. But they were really the first people to like give me an opportunity and a chance. You know what I mean? They were a group called Cash First ENT in Jackson, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And, they were doing all the shows, the mix factories and all this different stuff. So, like I said, we recorded the song on like a Friday. He's like, yo, man, that thing is dope. I've got a show with Don Tripp at the mix factory like next week. You trying to open up the show with me? And I was like, for real? Like, what's the catch? You know what I mean? He's like, nothing, bro. Like, I think it'd be dope. He's like, Mac Miller's popping. He's like, everybody needs like a dope white guy. And I'm just like, all right, hell yeah. You know what I mean? So he really just took me under his wing.
Yeah.
And, it was wild, bro. Like, I probably had 15 or 20 friends from college there, and they were the only 15 or 20 white people there. I was definitely the only white person on stage. It was a super fun experience.
Yeah.
You can ask Don Tripp. I'm sure he does not remember me, but I'm sure he remembers the show because, like, while we were on stage, the mics started to go out. I don't think the Mix Factory is even there anymore in Jackson. R.I.P. the Mix Factory. I'm sure it's something else now, but...
Yeah.
Their crappy mic system went out, their PA system went out, and they still brought Don Tripp up, and he a cappella sang like a good 20, 30 minutes worth of songs. Like him in the crowd just rocking, singing,
That's
you know
great.
what I mean?
That's dope.
Yeah. I mean, it was really dope because that was the first time that I saw like, man, like this is wild. Like, first of all, like really quickly I'm able to be at a show like this and be accepted by people and everybody loved it, bro. And I really like, it was I always like overcoming things, you know what I mean? Like overcoming like somebody doubting me and stuff like that, you know? So first of all, I'd grown up at schools in Baltimore. Like it's just, it happens all the time. You know what I mean? People are always assuming you're one way, you know what I mean? So walking into the mix factory and everybody's like, who the hell is this white kid? You know what I mean? And then getting on stage and rapping and those same people that are giving me dirty looks like, yo, that was crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like that feeling got me addicted to wanting to do it again. You know what I mean? So I did music with them for a little while. Again, shout out those people. Tio, he makes fire beats, bro. I've always said, like, if I ever like get on, that's somebody that I'm gonna try to bring with me. That man would produce the heck out of beats, like 10, 15 beats in a row, just insane. Super good people. But so like that's really how my first introduction to music, like actually doing it, like actually recording something, not just like in somebody's closet, you know what I mean, like in a little makeshift studio. So I did that thing with Don Tripp, and then my buddy in Memphis, Barrett, he went by 2Ts at the time. We opened up for Juicy J at Trippy Fest in Oxford, and then we opened up for like we just did a couple really dope shows, and it's like that whole experience was really like I just got addicted to like, man, like this is dope, like, you know what I mean, like I could really do this, like if I put my mind to something I can do it. So as I was leaving school, I remember like setting a goal. We were just chilling, me and some people one night, talking about like, you know, who are the best rappers in Tennessee at the time, you know what I mean, and like on our list it was like Lido, Don Tripp, and Young Dolph were like the three that were really like up and coming at that time. You know, they were the ones that were like popping.
What year was this?
Probably like 2013.
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah. Dolph was new then.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like the Step Brothers was booming. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was that era.
Yeah, for sure.
And I remember like sitting there, and I told dude across, my buddy Joe, I'm like, yo, I'm going to get a song with one of those three people. You know what I mean? Like Starlito, Don Tripp, or Dolph. One of them, I'm going to do a song with all of them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to make that happen. And then I texted to him, just like, one day we're going to look at this screenshot and it's going to be dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like fast forward 2 years later in Nashville, I was doing a feature with Lido, you know what I mean, in the studio. And it was like, I remember like showing Lido that screenshot, being like, yo, I like spoke this into existence. You know what I mean? He was like, oh, that's dope. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what I mean? Like music was the first thing that I realized like I could do. I could get out of my comfort zone if I just put my mind to it and do it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. What was the song with you and Lido called?
Woke Up.
Woke Up. Okay.
Yeah, and that's check that out on YouTube, song and video. But yeah, that was just. I guess we could talk about that too, like how that even came about.
Yeah, for sure.
So I had been hitting up like DJ Coop, shout out DJ Coop, buying Nevermind gear and going to his birthday parties and just kind of whatever I could do to just try to like support the people around, just kind of support Lido and whatever he was doing as a fan, but just trying to figure out how I was gonna get close enough to get a feature, you know what I mean? Like however that be, whether it would be like buying one or just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I hit up, it was like Grind Hard merch or something like that. You know what I mean? I was just trying to buy some merch. And the dude Nick, shout out Nick, appreciate you, Nick. He basically just like invited me over, like, yo, I got some of the shirts you want. Like I got them in stock, like just come grab them. And when I'm there, he's like, yo, you do music? And I'm like, man, I do music. Like I'm trying to do a song with Lido. And he made that happen, you know what I mean? Like he plugged me in with Star, called him right there. 2 days later, I'm in the studio with Star. Him and Wes, and I mean that was really like that was when it solidified to me like I could do this, you know what I mean, like like I put my mind to it, I made it happen.
Is that one on streaming platforms?
I don't know if it's on all streaming platforms. It's definitely on YouTube. I probably need to put that on other things. It's just like that was my first real song, and like looking back at it now, like I mean, you know, as an artist, like every time you put something out, you're like, oh, I could do that better now. I could do that better now. So looking back at it now, like 7 years later, 8 years later, you know what I mean? It's like, I could do that better. You know what I mean? But it's still a super dope song, super dope video. We shot it out east in Nashville before all the Tall and Skinnies went up. When, you know, like when Dickerson was still not the ideal place to be, but that's where I was working. That's where I was slinging barbecue at the time at House of Hickory. Yeah, that's what I was doing when I first came to Nashville, was selling barbecue pretty much full time.
Really?
Yeah, man, I did barbecue. Like, that's what I did out in Texas, was we started a barbecue food truck and then a barbecue restaurant. And then when I first came here, I was selling barbecue at a place called House of Hickory, cooking, like, they're like 5-time world champions, like Memphis MA champions, by times however many, like, they're the people with barbecue. And like any of the places downtown in Nashville that say, like, oh, we've got the best barbecue, like, they're buying it wholesale from them. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Little secret. I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Yeah.
But all these restaurants downtown that say they got the best barbecue.
Like where we ate?
No, they cook their own. Martin's cooks their own barbecue. Shout out Martin's.
Yeah.
They make they make good stuff. But a lot of places downtown buy it wholesale from that place that I was working. But yeah, did the feature with Star, and that was really dope, man. Like, actually meeting Starlito. A lot of times, especially now, being in the music for so long, you probably attest to this too. Like, you don't want to meet your heroes or the people that you look up to. You know what I mean? Because, like, a lot of times they end up not being who they actually rap about. You know what I mean? Like, it's just,
for sure.
or they're an asshole, or like whatever you built them up to be, they're not that. But Star was completely the opposite, bro. Like, he was nothing but kind, nothing but generous with information. Like, he gave me so much game, bro. Like, I remember, yeah, I mean, shout out Starlito. A lot of love,
Yeah,
man.
man. I look forward to meeting that guy one day, man, and hopefully getting an interview with him. I know.
Bro. You just did one with Dale, right?
Yeah, I did one. We did one with Trap. Trap's been on the podcast.
Yeah, bro.
Troy Money.
Yeah.
Troy's been on the podcast. We did one with Logan Garrett.
Yeah, that's the homie.
So
Much love to Logan Garrett.
yeah, and we had
Logan.
actually scheduled an interview a few months back with Red Dot, and
Dope.
it was a deal where I was sick, and then he had something come up, so we weren't able to do it. But shout out to Grind Hard.
I met Red Dot when he first got out of jail.
Yeah.
Like, on some, I mean, like, I was like a Star fanboy. You know what I mean? Like, I loved his
for
music.
sure.
So I
Me
mean,
too.
like,
I've been
I'd
since-
followed all along with Red Dot stuff. So I was at Limelight for something, and Red Dot came up, and I like walked right up and like, "Yo, you Red Dot?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Yo, I'm Chucky V. I've got music with Starlito." And he was just like, "All right." Like, probably caught him way off guard. You know what I mean? But yeah, Star gave me a lot of free game, man. And then I actually helped him do the what was his Hot Chicken mixtape or album, whatever that was. I helped.
Hot Chicken, yeah.
Yeah, I helped him secure the food truck for the cover of that, which was super dope. My buddy Seth had a food truck, so we secured that and did that. Yeah,
that's cool.
And that was like a really dope thing. That was one of the, like, me and Logan have become good friends through little stuff like that. He's always like, "Man, Chucky, you can find anything, bro." He's like, somebody else in the city might not know where anything's at. He's like, but the most random shit, he's like, "You've got a guy, bro." And it's like, yeah, man, I've always tried to be that guy, like, and man, really, that's just like that, like, getting that feature is just like anything in life. You know what I mean? Like, if you put yourself in the right position and you work hard towards something, like, make yourself valuable in some way. You know what I mean? Like,
No, for sure.
and a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people don't realize, like, if you can make yourself valuable, then you're more valuable in a situation, and people want you to be in that situation. Versus, like, gosh, why is Chad always around? Like, he's not bringing nothing to the table. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
God
Yeah.
bless. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure you can attest to that now. Like, people that didn't rock with you a few years ago or kept you on the back burner or
Oh,
like
yeah,
whatever,
of
and
course.
now all of a sudden you got a channel like, "Yo, Chad,
Of course, yeah.
my God," you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, people are people. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
make yourself valuable, figure stuff out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that was 2015. I know. I just looked it up on when you dropped the one. With
It was
Saul.
2015. All right, bet.
Yeah, it looks like you dropped it on Halloween 2015. You dropped the video.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I've got a terrible memory. I'm like Dory the fish, bro.
Dude, I'm bad too. If it wasn't for, I think
Dates
that's why
and
I'm
stuff.
so
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why I'm so adamant about ChadArmesTV footage and document and stuff, because my memory's just not good, bro.
I feel that, man. Like, on a
lot of the
spiritual
stuff
level.
that I remember, that I say, remember this. And I'm like, yeah, it's on YouTube. I'm like, well, fuck, that's the only reason I remember it.
They're like, "You said it. I'm quoting you," and you're like, "Oh."
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I forgot.
Bro, people will do that to me pretty much all the time. People will bring up like a lyric or something.
Yeah.
Like, people will like type a lyric to me, like one of my own lyrics,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, "Oh, that's dope," and they'll be like, "It's from your song," and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know, and then I have to be like, "What song is that
Dude,
from?"
there's
Like,
so many of my songs that I don't know the lyrics to. Like, if somebody put a gun to my head and said, "Chad, you have to rap this through," I wouldn't be able to do it.
you're like,
And
"Oh,
it's my
okay."
own stuff.
Dude, trust me, I'm the same way.
So it's like, I don't know, bro. But so your first album that you dropped, was that in 2017? Who Is He? Was that the first album?
Yeah,
you
that was
did?
my very first album, bro. And shout out to Jelly Roll, kind of coached me through that whole process, really. And actually, like, he really coached me through that whole process. He plugged me in with Stoner.
So that's how you met Stoner?
I met Stoner through Jelly Roll, yeah. Like,
well, before we even get to this, then you want to talk about meeting Jelly? How that came?
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so I'd met Jelly the first time ever meeting him was like he had tweeted about like I've got the songwriters night. It's like an acoustic type thing. It's gonna be at a little house. Hit me up for the address, and so I was like, shoot, you know what I mean? Like I just done the stuff with Star like in the last few months. So I was like, Jelly's also on my list of goats in Tennessee. You know what I mean? Like, let me try to meet him. You know? So I DM'd him for the address. He reached back, and I went to this like small little acoustic thing where he played some. It was like a smoking session type thing. I'm trying to remember what it was called, but he did that, and that was the first time I ever met him. I was wearing a DJ Coop, a Nevermind shirt, you know, and that kind of shout out DJ Coop again, and that's kind of what Jelly was right away like, yo, that's Coop stuff, right? And I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? And like that kind of got us, you know, talking. So I met him there, and then I met another fan of Jelly's there, basically my buddy Seth, who I didn't know him at the time, and we got to become good friends. And like over the next few weeks or months, as we were becoming friends, he's like talking about Jelly, like, bro, Jelly's gonna know you for life, basically, you know what I mean? And I hadn't met Jelly enough times to know like how he is, like, and you can attest to this, like he's got the memory of like, it's insane, right? Like I can't tell you how many times like being on the road with him, I'll be talking to somebody and they're like, oh, I met Jelly once 8 years ago, he won't remember me, and then Jelly Roll walks by like, hey, what's up, Chad, good to meet you, right, from middle of nowhere Tennessee, right? Good to see you, man. Good. And they're just like, what? Like, bro's got the wildest memory ever.
Dude, it trips me out because I've told so many people this. There's so many times that I've experienced personally where I'll be saying something to Jelly, and he'll be looking at his phone, and he doesn't even respond to anything that I said.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, well, I'm not going to repeat it. I'm just saying, well, he's not paying attention. 15, 20 minutes goes by, and then he just starts talking about what I asked.
Like he just picked up.
Like he knew, he just, bruh, it trips, and so many people are like, dude, he's doing this. That's just how he does stuff. But he listens to everything.
Yeah, no.
But because, you know, like, you'll say something, and then you don't get a response, and then you feel silly, so you're like, all right.
Yeah, like, should I keep talking? Should I stop talking?
Busy.
Like, all right.
Then he's like, yeah, for sure, man. But about that such and such, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, so
yeah, no, so accurate.
Yeah.
So I met Jelly at that little thing, and then he was doing features at the time. My buddy Seth was like, yo, I just saw they tweeted, you know, or posted something about Jelly's doing features. You should do a feature. So I bought a feature with Jelly in like 2016, maybe.
Yeah. Because you dropped the album in 17 and he's on it, so that sounds about right.
Yeah, but that wasn't even that feature. Like, I bought a feature. That's never even come out. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But bought the feature, and then linked up with Cushy. I think I met Cushy through probably just being out thugging, really. Like,
yeah.
Just met him out at the bars or something, you know what I mean? Like, and then met him at a Jelly show and you know, like, put two and two together that he's was Jelly's bro. And trying to think, like, they were on like the Hot Chicken and what's the Beer and Hot Chicken, that tour that Jelly and Alex King and all them were on. Yeah. They did a show in Murfreesboro, so I went.
Cold Beer and Hot Chicken, is that what it was?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm butchering it. No disrespect.
Me too.
I've got a terrible memory. Yeah, it's no disrespect. I just have a terrible memory.
It's going nowhere fast.
We need a third person here just Googling shit for us. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, that was this and such.
Yeah, or we need Jamie from the Joe Rogan podcast. That's just one hand Googling stuff for us.
Yeah.
But I went out to that show out there in Murfreesboro, and he just remembered me like, yo, I met you at that thing, you know, and I just started chopping it up, and kind of got tied in with him, and then I was hanging out with like Cushy. JJ was doing videos for him. Scary Larry, shout out Scary Larry.
Oh, shout out! Yeah,
I got super tied in with him at that same time, and me and him were just traveling the country, doing wild stuff together, living reckless, having fun, and just doing debaucherous stuff, really. You know what I mean? And so of course, me, Cushy, and Scary are all getting along really well, and then Jelly was about to go on tour with Cypress Hill. He was about to go on the 25th anniversary tour with Cypress Hill. and I was working a job that was a real good job. It was selling health insurance, like a real good job.
So you were done with the barbecue stuff, and you.
Yeah, so I'd quit the barbecue stuff to get like a real like grown-up job. You know what I mean? Like that's what you're supposed to do, right? I've got a college degree and all these things. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I need to get a real job. Quit just being a hustler, essentially. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I get this job selling health insurance, and it's a good opportunity, but it just wasn't for me. You know what I mean? It was like a be there 12 hours, pound the pavement.
And it's a sales job too,
which is cool, and I'm natural at sales, you know what I mean? Like, I do that, but it's one of those jobs that
level to it,
it's a whole nother level, bro. Like, you got to fully drink the Kool-Aid, and I know people still doing that make millions of dollars a year. Like,
you got to be
millions of dollars. Like, I know people in Nashville that I did this with years ago that were like starting the same time as me. Like, my one buddy last year finished his year. At the end of the year, they gave him a $90,000 bonus. It's like, hey, this is just a little bonus for bread. You know what I mean? Like a real job. And I was like, I think I'm going to quit. I don't like it. I'm going to see if I can go on tour with Jelly Roll. And like everybody that I told it to was just like, do what now? What are you going to do? You know what I mean? And it wasn't even like I was invited. It wasn't like Jelly was like, yo, your music's so dope. Come on tour with me. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just like, I'm going to just see if I can tag along. You know what I mean? Just do debaucherous stuff with everybody. And so essentially I just tagged along on tour, me and Scary Larry.
Yeah.
Did our own thing, and it was a super fun time, man. I learned a ton. And in that process, I mean, that tour alone was super fun. And I learned a lot because we toured with Cypress Hill. And I mean, me and Jelly became really good friends in that time too. You know what I mean? Like, and Bunny, that was when Bunny was first coming around too. And like, we would all just hang out. But I remember getting to like really pick the minds of Cypress Hill, which was like just a super cool interaction. I mean, like,
that's dope.
Like literally getting to go on the bus, like me, Jelly, Cushy, probably Scary Larry. Like, we all went on the bus with B-Real, you know, like,
that's dope.
Yeah, and B-Real's lighting up his strain and passing them around and talking to us and just giving us game about, like, this is what we've been doing. You know, it's their 25th anniversary tour, you know what I mean? Like, some of the first rap I ever heard in my life was Cypress Hill, you know what I mean? So it was, incredible for that. And then, like, another night at the bar at one of the hotels, Sin Dog was there, and I remember, like, sitting next to him drinking, and he was like, yo, you're on tour with us, right? And I was like, yeah. I was like, do you mind if I sit here and talk? You know, like, and he was super cool, man. He gave me so much game. He told me about his brother, told me how his brother's, like, a way better rapper than him and anybody else, but his, like, you know, just, I think he said his brother was on drugs and just could never get off of that, you know what I mean? But he was saying his brother was, like, one of the most talented musicians ever. Mm-hmm. But really, like, just, I mean, also I had heard B-Real, he said, like, he had tried music for years, you know what I mean? Like, never get any traction. And then he did that, like, the wild voice, you know, it's not the medicine, you know, like, he did one, like, just kind of being funny, like, just trying something different, like, nothing else is, you know, and that's what popped. And then he's just kind of, he stayed, you know what I mean, like, people wanted something different, you know what I mean? It's like, that already resonated with me because I remember in Texas, Sage the Gemini, remember that gas pedal, like that song, right? I remember, like, I hated that song, and I just didn't really like him because that was his song, you know what I mean? I thought it was a dumb song. And then I watched an interview with him where he was talking about, like, man, I hate that song. Basically, I made that song trying to be funny, like, just trying to, like, show how gimmicky, you know, and that caught. So then I was like, whoa, like, so then I got into his music, and he's got some dope, really deep, real metaphorical, like, over-your-head type music, you know what I mean? Yeah. And he just continued to talk about in the interview, like, that stuff wasn't what was getting him traction, you know what I mean? So it was like, it was like a battle between, you know, like, making the music you want to make versus making the music that is popular, and, you know. So it was really cool to hear B-Real talk about that, and then getting, like, one-on-one advice from Sin Dog and hearing him just talk about, like, how they made it and the struggles of once you think you've made it and all the different, you know, basically how there's different struggles at every level of success, you know what I mean?
For sure,
You know, I mean, that just resonates with me tenfold now that I've been doing music for 10 years, and I've got friends that are real successful, and I've got friends that have given up, and I've got friends that are the same level as me, and it's like, you really get to see, like, wow, I've just got, you know, 10 years ago I'd have thought that I made it based on this, and the people that I think have made it have way more problems than I want, and the people that they think have made it have way more problems than that. You know what I mean? It's like,
man.
Yeah, I mean, you can attest to
You don't just get all the money and then none of the problems with it, man.
Yeah,
the
bro.
problems multiply tenfold.
To quote,
yeah.
To quote the late great Biggie.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
More money, more problems.
That's exactly what it is.
You know what I mean? That's why I've got that gold Biggie statue right over there.
Yeah.
The little Biggie Buddha, the Biggie Funk Popo, Funko
yeah.
Pop. I mean, sorry, I'm a little bit dyslexic, I guess too.
Shout out to Funko Popo.
Hey, shout out to Funko Pop. Give your boy a sponsorship. And while we're speaking on sponsorships, Clear American.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
single-handedly
I'm
keeping y'all in business.
Went on the ride home with me to try it.
I'm keeping y'all in business. I buy them. I'm a Clear American-aholic, okay? If Walmart has 8 cases, I'm buying 8 cases.
Yeah.
If they have more than 8, I'll leave 1 or 2 for other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm fully addicted to Clear American. That's how I helped. That's how I really lost a lot of the weight, was cutting soda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we should talk about that too.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
A lot of people always ask me about losing weight.
When did that start? What was it? Is it around? So we're in the 2016-17 jelly time frame.
I was super big, super big. You know what I mean? Like happily at 320. You know what I mean? Like feeling fit at like 300, being like, I look good, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
when I look in the mirror sometimes, I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
and
like,
I'm like, nah.
You know what I mean? Like,
No, yeah.
Yeah, like. Yeah. Yeah, you know, so I was big, I was eating good, I was not living a good lifestyle, you know what I mean? Like,
you're partying?
I was partying a lot, I was indulging in all the things.
What was your drink of choice? Because you drank a lot back then.
I drank a lot of vodka.
So vodka was your thing.
A lot of vodka and...
But you weren't opposed to whatever everybody was drinking?
Oh, bro, whatever anybody's... Yeah,
okay.
like...
But vodka was if you had to choose.
Bro, this one time... You could ask my wife about this. She's probably feeling me talking about this downstairs right now.
Mm-hmm.
In 2018, I took my wife, then girlfriend, out to Vegas. It was right when Jelly and Bunny had moved out to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And I went out there for my birthday, bro. My birthday in March. So I get out there, and I'd already had like a whole Vegas trip planned, me and my girl, right? I'm going out there for my birthday. And but Jelly was the homie, and he had just moved there. And you know, Vegas is this big. You know what I mean? It's tiny. You know what I mean? So I land in Vegas, right? And my phone has blown up. I've got a ton of new followers. I've got all this stuff. I'm like, what in the world? Jelly has tagged me. He's at Costco with a Costco-sized bottle of Jack Daniels. You know what I mean? Talking about, oh, Chucky V's going to be in town from Tennessee. We're going to have a drinking competition. I challenge you, Chucky V. You know what I mean? Like, just challenging me on Snapchat or Instagram.
You had no idea.
I had no idea, bro. So I land to that. And it's like, well, I'm in Vegas for, like, my 25th birthday. I've got my girl with me. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm going to go party with my buddy that's a rock star. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't I? Yeah.
He said 2018, he's starting to ramp up at that point.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And, like, yeah, I mean, we were just super tight then, too. You know what I mean? Like, me, him, and Bunny, like, we would go to dinner all the time. Like, I would jokingly call them mom and dad. You know what I mean? Like, we were real close back then. And so I get out to Vegas, and we just start to consume Jack Daniels and consume Jack Daniels and consume Jack Daniels. And, I mean, to the point to where I got sick, and I don't usually get sick, and I got sick. Me and my wife both got sick. Bunny's babysitting us. You know what I mean? Like, it's, a great story. I'm sure it's a core memory for them, too. But, yeah. I still have a little PTSD every time I sip whiskey because of that, from that Costco-sized bottle of whiskey that night.
And Jack Daniels. Fuck Jack Daniels.
Oh, man.
It's not near as smooth as Crown.
And I'm sure you've drank with Jelly.
Yeah.
But when you drink like with a purpose, you know what I mean? Like, oh, we're documenting this as a competition. It's like the moment that you finish, like,
dude.
As soon as you finish that, there's already another one poured, and you're like, oh, okay. So it's, okay.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like it's an event, bro.
Yeah.
It's an event. He makes it look easy.
Yeah.
He makes it look easy for sure.
For
Shout
sure.
out Jelly.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, for sure that.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, that's how I hooked up with Stones through Jelly.
Okay, so Stoner, yeah, so that's when Jelly links you with Stoner, and you and Stoner are pretty much, well, that's who you, exclusive.
That's pretty much exclusively who I use. Like, I make stuff with Cliffy D and O-Rig. Shout out Cliffy D and O-Rig.
Yeah.
They got a dope new studio down on Music Row. You definitely got to do an interview with them.
No, for sure.
I don't know if you have or not yet,
but tailgates,
you know, they're super dope people. And Cliffy's always shown me love, bro. Like, that's somebody that he's let me do shows for him. He's let me open up at his birthday party and do shows. Like, he's always given me opportunities, you know what I mean? And so shout out Cliffy D, bro, for sure. And then in that same manner, in that same regard, in that same reverence, shout out to Stoner, because that's really why I say, like, that's the only place I use, is because Stone showed me so much love from the jump, you know what I mean? Like,
just off the strength of Jelly?
Just off the strength of Jelly, you know what I mean? And just off, like, obviously we became friends after that,
no,
but, like,
for sure, but
at first it was just like, yo, this is Chucky V, this is Stone. If I'm not in the studio, let him use it. Charge him like he would me. You know what I mean? And it was really that. Like, I'd have studio sessions, and if Jelly needed to get in, then, like, I'd just drop the session. But, you know what I mean? I was driving out to Stone's house as often as I could to work, you know what I mean? Because before that, like, where I did the Starlito feature and stuff like that, like, you know, studios are taxing in Nashville.
Really?
Like real professional studios, you know what I mean? Like, anybody, like, I got a studio right there, you know what I mean? And people will charge $150 an hour for that type thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So in downtown Nashville,
home studio,
yeah, you can easily spend $4 or $5 grand in a weekend recording in a studio, just getting a room, or just, you know what I mean? So when Jelly plugged me in with Stoner, it was like a big deal, you know what I mean? Because it was like, this is the guy, you know what I mean? Like, they had just finished No Filter, he was the guy. He's still the guy.
Yeah.
And he plugged me in, you know what I mean? Jelly really took me under his wing, really. Like, he definitely didn't have to, you know what I mean? And like you said, he was popping back then. Like, that was really when he was really starting to get going, and he was showing me nothing but love. Like, and at the time, as like a 25-year-old, a lot of times he would say something to me or say something about me, and I would take it like, oh man, he doesn't believe in me, or this or that. And then now that I look back as a 30-year-old, I'm like, bro, he was a 30-year-old talking to a 25-year-old kid, you know what I mean? And like, now that I'm 30, it's like, like, man, like, I can't believe he, you know, like, I've been through the same things with Leroy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, 5 years ago, the stuff I was telling Leroy, I know he's not listening to me.
Yeah.
But this year, Leroy's calling me like, Bubba.
Yeah.
I understand now. What you were saying
for sure. And that
makes sense.
And it comes with growth.
It just comes with growth. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But I remember,
Yeah.
like, even then, like, when Jelly, like, plugged me with Stoner, like, it was, like, the biggest blessing ever. You know what I mean? I just felt like, I really felt like I had made it, if that makes sense. Because it was, like, a trusted place that I could go to make music. Whereas before, it kind of felt like I'm having to pay to be here.
Yeah,
I'm having to
prove.
prove.
People are just taking your money.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It didn't feel comfortable at all. So Stoner's was the first place that I ever, like, was comfortable in making music.
Is that how you met Church?
Yeah. So I worked with Stone for, like, we did that album, the Who Is He, and check out Who Is He. And the reason it's called Who Is He is for the same reason when Chad Arms announced that he's doing an interview with Chucky V, you're like, who is he?
Yeah. We'll put the art, like, when we start breaking down each album, we'll throw it up on the screen so people can see.
Oh, yeah. So me and Stone did that first album, Who Is He? Jelly really helped me a lot with that. And, man, really shout out Jelly. The day that album dropped, my first album ever, my first mixtape, anything like that ever, first real thing. I remember, like, he already knew it was dropping. We communicated all the time. But he called me that day, like, when it dropped, like, that morning, like, early. You know, because Jelly's always up when Jesus is awake, like, butt crack of dawn. And he calls me, like, man, like, it's the first time, you know, like, your first album's dropping. Like, I remember this day for me. Like, you know, like, he was just so hyped for me, bro. I always think back to that every time I drop something. And I always think back to that anytime somebody drops something for the first time. Like, I remember I called Leroy when he dropped his first album. You know what I mean?
The album number 1, yeah.
Yeah, and I called him just to give him that same excitement, because I remember how much it meant to me that Jelly called me. Like, not only did he remember I dropped it, but he's, like, encouraging me. You know what I mean?
And he's
like,
on it, too.
And he's on it, yeah. Like, all the above. But, like, I just, like, it always sticks with me. Anytime, like, somebody that I'm rooting for drops their first project, any project, but their first project, like, I always, that's, like, a core memory to me, is, like, him calling me to support me and show me, like, you know what I mean? Like, just when people show me love and they don't need to, bro, that makes me a loyal person I'll kill somebody for you. You know what I mean? Like it, for you. You know what I mean? Like you've gone out of your way.
Yeah.
You don't know me from Adam, and you'll go out of your way to show me love or to do something for me, bro.
Oh, you're my boy, man.
That shit shows, like that shit means more to me than anything. Like I'm a loyal person to the fault, really. You know what I mean? So him plugging me with Stoner really meant a lot. And then me and Stoner, we did the first album, and then he had a studio on. He sold his studio, actually to Upchurch, bro. Surprisingly, and they didn't even know each other at the time. But Tubbs, you know Tubbs. Shout out Tubbs. That's the guy, man.
National Treasure.
He's the guy, man. What'd you call him?
National Treasure.
That's a good nickname for him, man. He's the guy, bro.
Yeah, man.
Tubbs is somebody, bro. You can call him like I got a body to bury, or like I'm just like I've called him
my
before.
Truck's stuck.
Bro, I literally called him before because my truck was stuck. I moved to Ashland City. I'd been there for like 8 days, bro. The only people I knew in Ashland City was Ryan Upchurch and Tubbs.
Well, it's two good people to know.
It's two good people, but I was like, I can't call Upchurch because my truck is stuck. You know what I mean? Like, I probably could have. I'm sure he would have come and helped me, but like I felt stupid being like, hey, my truck's stuck, you know. So I called Tubbs, and he's like, well, I'm about 40 minutes away. I'll be there in 10 minutes. And boy, if he wasn't there in 10 minutes, like I don't know how fast he drove, probably 110 miles per hour up River Road, pulls me out, and then just leaves, like just disappears. My dad was there. My dad's like, who is that guy? I'm like, oh, it's Tubbs. He's like, he's just leaving. I'm like, oh, he's the guy. He's just a redneck. He just pops up, pulls you out of the mud, and disappears. Like, but yeah, so Tubbs had bought Stoner's old studio, like the building. It was like a 20 by 40 building out.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like outside of the property. You know what I mean? Like not a shed, but like a 20 by 40 building type thing,
Yeah.
And Tubbs bought it.
I wonder if that was the same building that Adam was talking about in his interview with the first time that he recorded with Struggle. He said it was at Stoner's, but he said it was a weird looking building. It had to be that.
Probably that. So
it was like 2018, 2019.
Probably so, because right from there, when he sold that building, he moved to a little spot on Music Row that was like roughly the size of this couch.
No, it had so it's probably the same thing Adam was talking about.
Bet So he bought that. We didn't even know that was like through Upchurch, nothing like that. And Tubbs just bought it. Then he put it on Church's property, and so Stone has got the studio on Music Row. It's real small, and it was really dope. Though it was like I like a good small studio. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it's just like an intimate setting. You feel comfortable. It was super dope. And then it was like a shared building. And then out of nowhere, like this hair salon moved in. And like, if you think a studio's loud, like drums and stuff, 8 women in a hair salon is the loudest thing ever. Like,
how did that work? How did y'all?
It didn't work.
Oh,
it didn't work at all, bro. Yeah. So very quickly he got out of that lease. And not that he didn't have anywhere to go, but it was just like he needed I don't exactly remember the situation, but basically he needed a way to get a studio, and I was like, yo, we can get a studio, you know what I mean? So I rented a studio, and we rented it together, you know what I mean? Like, I leased it, and he had the main studio. I just had a little tiny room in the front. It was like my office or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, just basically gave me an excuse to have a partnership with Stone to keep building that bridge, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, because, I mean, I believed in him.
Yeah.
Off Jump Street, you know what I mean? Like, and he had showed me love, and like I said, like I'm loyal to a fault. Like, like I do whatever it takes to help Stoner succeed. Like, just because he's believed in me and he's helped push me. So we got that studio, and that was over off of Thessler's Lane. And I think just recently I realized that the Burn One podcast.
Yeah.
I think they had that studio for a little while.
Okay.
After us, I don't think they have it anymore, but. So me and Stone had that studio, but right before we got that studio together, we were on the Music Row studio, and I'm recording, and like my session's about up, and Stoner's like, yo, this guy named Upchurch is coming after you if you want to stick around and meet him. And I was like, the guy from Vine? You know what I mean? Like because at the time he was like, his music was really starting to pop.
Yeah.
But his like vines and stuff were like hysterical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like. So I knew him through that. Like I knew who he was through like Vines and viral videos and stuff like that. I thought he was hysterical, and I had really just started liking a few of it. Like that song "White Lightning" had like an incredible video. Like still one of my favorite music videos of all time. So I'm at the studio. Church comes. He pulls up in like one of the baddest trucks I've ever seen. It's got like a 60-inch lift, not really, but you know what I mean. It's a massive truck with like 40-inch tires, gorgeous big diesel truck, big Cummins, and he like hops out. And he's I got like a little basic Silverado at the time. You know what I mean? He's like, "Dang, whose truck is this?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's mine." He's like, "Dang, Skinny, that thing's dope, bro." You know what I mean? Like, just super nice, like gassing me up. And I'm like, "Oh man, thanks. Like, your truck's incredible." He's like, "Oh man, yeah, it's cool." Like, but he was just like incredibly kind. You know what I mean? Then when that was the first time ever meeting him, and I just thought like, damn, that's really cool. Like how down to earth this dude is, and like how kind he is. And he did a song with Stoner then. And I remember like trying to get a video with him, you know what I mean? Like thinking like, oh, this dude's like a viral person, like that'd be dope for, you know. And then me and Stone got the studio together, and then Stoner and Church started working together a bunch. And then I just really became friends with, you know, Church, like just because he was always at the studio, you know what I mean? And I was always at the studio, so shout out Upchurch, super good guy. My brother for life type individual, you know what I mean? Like him and Stone, Jelly, all these people that I'm talking about are people that I would, you know, really like ride for. You know what I mean? Like they're really people that like I would stake something on. Like they really mean a lot to me. They've done a lot for me, and I would do a lot for them type. You know.
Was the first song that you and Church cut way back?
Yeah.
Since y'all dropped that on December 10th, 2019, dropped the single for that one.
Yeah, we probably recorded it in like 2018.
Okay. And that's obviously a Stoner track.
Yeah, that was a Stoner track. And yeah, we cut that and probably did that in the small studio.
Gotcha, okay.
Like before me and Stone even had a studio. I believe so. Like from Jump Street, he was super down to do music, you know what I mean? And I wasn't anybody. Like I might have had like 100 views type thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was really popping at the time, bro. Like just a time or two after that at the studio, him, you know, Upchurch and B-Loose came to the studio. And that was when B-Loose was first doing videos for him, you know, and he had shot the White Lightning video and a bunch of other ones. Shout out B-Loose, by the way.
Yeah.
Major shout out to B-Loose, that's my guy. But he had shot a bunch of those videos for Upchurch, and I remember talking to B-Loose, and he was talking about, like, I don't want to say numbers. I'm not trying to put people's business out there, but I remember him talking about, like, man, like, we were getting this amount for a show a year ago, and today we're getting this amount.
Yeah.
And that was then.
Yeah.
And now today, you know, because, like, me and B-Loose have really become homies. Me and Church have really become homies since then. And I'll often bring that up to them. You know, like when they talk about how much they're making for a show now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying with Jelly? Like, I'll bring that up with him too next time I see him. Like, I remember how much they were getting for shows then and what they're getting for shows now. And it's like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this is what it's about, bro. Like, this is why people keep chasing that dream. You know what I mean? But, like, I remember then, like, it was a few bands. You know what I mean? Like, a few $1,000s for a show. And they were stoked about that. You know what I mean? They were like, can you believe somebody's paying us $5,000 to
They wouldn't
go
even get out of the bed for $5,000 now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Yeah, of course.
They've just leveled up. So
Yeah,
it's like
bro.
It doesn't make
Levels to this shit, and they are light years ahead of that. But, you know, that was just a little memories like that, like, reside in my brain forever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially as I'm trying to do music, like, and I know a lot of people watching this are probably going to, like, they're trying to do music, and they're trying to, whatever you're trying to do, like, I'm sure you can attest to this too. Like, it's easy to give up, and it's easy to like to feel burned out. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you find yourself asking yourself, like, is it even worth trying?
Yeah, and it's just like
because you get down just like with anything, you know. But
and it's also easy to like compare yourself to other people, you know, especially other people you've been around. So it's like if you see somebody else doing better than you. Not even in a jealous way, but it's easy to compare yourself to them. Like, why am I not there as well? Like, we've been doing this together. You know what I mean? It's like, I've been doing this 10 years. Like, it's easy to get into that mindset.
Yeah.
So I try my best to just avoid that altogether. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
It's a trap, really, to get into that. Like, well, I see Jelly blowing up. Like, why am I not? Like, that's a trap. You know what I mean? Like, that's a toxic.
You can't compare your situation
to anybody,
with somebody else's, because I used to do that years ago, and it's a trap, just like you said, because it makes you trick your mind into thinking because I'm not where they're at, I'm not successful.
Exactly, bro. And I try to just be, bro, I'm so genuinely happy for everybody around. Like, I genuinely, like, rising tide, I mean, raises all the boats. You know what I mean? Like, I genuinely believe, like, there's enough out there for everybody to eat. Like,
there is, for sure.
I've always been the type, bro, like, if I'm making money, you know how I'm making money. Like, because I'm trying to tell you how.
Yeah,
Chad,
for sure.
Chad, listen to me. The diamonds,
Yeah.
that's how we're about to eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, whatever I'm doing, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I want everybody to eat. Like,
For
so when
sure.
I see people that I didn't see succeeding at some point, succeeding now, you know what I mean? Or even they were succeeding, they're succeeding more now. Like, we were just talking about, like, they were getting this much. Now they get, like, bro, that makes me so happy. Like,
Yeah.
there's not a hating bone in my body when it comes to that type of thing. Like, I want everybody to succeed.
Yeah.
And when I see people that I genuinely love succeeding, bro, it makes me so happy. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
oh, man, bro. Like, my dad, for example, like I said, my dad's a minister. He'll text me out of the blue, like, oh, bro, I just watched Jelly Roll at the Grand. Like, my dad's more interested in Jelly Roll's career than mine. Like, not really, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
No, yeah.
like he's proud of Jelly like he's his son. Like,
Yeah.
the way that my dad brags to people about, like, oh, well, you know, my son actually knows Jelly Roll. And Jelly Roll, he's a hell of a person. Like, he'll, you know what I mean? Like, he'll talk about him like he's his own son. It's hysterical. Like, I love it. Like, it's, like, it's dope. And I'm sure that makes Jelly happy because Jelly's always held my dad in high regard because he's a minister. He's like, oh, man, people of the Lord, they got that one-on-one with God. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, man.
yeah, nah.
So, 2020, you started dropping singles.
Yeah, with me and Stone again.
Y'all started dropping. Y'all dropped. Looks like y'all were trying to drop one a month. I mean, I know y'all dropped
and
same time.
Yeah, we did a bunch of singles. My goal was to do like one a month.
Yeah.
And
What a Feeling.
What a Feeling, man! That's a super dope video. You should definitely check that out. Belu shot that video for me.
Yeah.
We flew out to L.A. and then drove to Vegas and shot it between L.A. and Vegas, and that's a super dope video.
Yeah, you did. Well, I'm gonna flash these on the screen too. So you did Unique.
Unique, man. That's another super dope video too. Yeah, I went hard in 20. What year was this?
2020. You did Dip.
Bro, I went hard, bro.
Reservations.
Bro, have you seen any of those animated videos?
I've seen the one with you in church, and I've heard all the songs, but I haven't.
So the Dip has an animated video, and Unique has an animated video, and the one with Church has an animated video, way back.
Okay.
And those are, man, like, videos are dope. We were talking about this earlier. Like, everything in making music costs money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, to do a video, all right, I'm gonna fly out to LA. That's $500.
Yep.
I'm gonna book an Airbnb out there. That's $2,000. We'll book a hotel for this other scene. That's $500. You want to get a car? That's $1,000.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, you want to go out here. You want to pay for the camera. You got to pay for the actual video itself. You want to pay for like.
Never ending.
It never ends, bro. And even if you're like, oh, I'm gonna do a small video. Like, all right, well, the video guy still charges $1,500 if you're his super good friend, or if they really believe in you. 5,000 more like it. You know what I mean? Yeah, like. You know, so everything costs money. So I was looking for ways to try to like be super creative and not break the bank every time. So I was looking for like a dope way to do some animation, because animation, like, I can be in space, I can be in Paris, I can be in, you know what I mean? You can do all these dope things, and you're paying a flat fee, if you will. So I found this dude, my buddy Dawson. Shout out Dawson.
He's on same time.
He's on same time. Yeah, that's the guy, man. And he DJ'd for Leroy for a little while.
Oh, cool. Okay. Was y'all's song, you and his song, Santa Reservations, was that done before Diamonds was?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so because that was on album Dose for Leroy.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So you did Santa Reservations was y'all's first song?
So me and Leroy?
Yeah.
I guess so.
On your discography, that's what it's showing. Because I know you did No Time to Waste with Church in 2020 as well.
Yeah, I guess that was the first song that I did with Leroy, was Standing Reservations, which is wild to think.
And then he got you on his album.
So that basically worked. I let Leroy come to the studio with me and Stone. He listened through, I'm letting him listen to the album. He's like, oh, bro, these are all great. He's like, but that Standing Reservations joint, he's like, that's it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I already knew that was a good song, because 4 or 5 other people had also said the same thing, you know what I mean? Like, yo, let me get on that train. You know, like when you have a good one, everybody wants to get on that one. So I let Leroy get on that, and then basically in response to that, we went to the studio and created Diamonds.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, you know, which is super dope, and it became a super cool thing. And that was like right when I was getting into the jewelry thing. It was like I wasn't really facilitating any jewelry yet. I was just like I was testing the waters, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that was 2020. That's when like COVID first happened.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And that's what kickstarted my jewelry stuff. That's what kickstarted the weight loss. That's what.
Okay, so
you know
that
what I
was
mean?
okay. And then those singles that you put out, all of those went on the Pistols and Pumps album in 2021. But you dropped a Lost Files album in 2020.
Yep.
Was that stuff with Stoner?
Yep, that was all stuff with Stoner.
So that was stuff that just didn't come out as singles and or went
correct.
on the album.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
So
see, I was getting some stuff knocked out back in that time frame.
Bro, something that Jelly taught me with the studio and with Stoner that I really try to apply still to my music is like, don't make 10 songs and put 10 songs out.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like make 100 songs, throw them against the wall, see what sticks.
Yep.
Put the best 30 out.
For
Take
sure.
those 30, get the best 10.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you use what's there as like a. So I've always got 100 songs halfway done or that we made and haven't put out, or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I've always got material. It's just one of those things too. Like as an artist, like how long do you hold this and like try to perfect it and make a new version of it and make a new version of it and make a new version of it before you put it out, versus just putting it out. You know what I mean? It's like it's something that every artist struggles with, I'm sure, but that was something that Jelly gave me that game real early on. Like, look, don't just rush an album. Don't just rush something. You know what I mean? Like, make 30 songs, make 100 songs, pick out the best ones, you know? And that's something that's always stuck with me. So the Lost Files was basically like, hey, we've got
exactly that.
We've got 30 songs that are dope, but they're not on any projects. What do you want to do with it? And I was like, oh, let's just make a little Lost Files album. Like,
Yep.
so that's what that was, and yeah, those singles are super dope. Please check those out on YouTube. We're using the animation, and I mean that was just really dope. Like I was trying my best to do like one a month. Like you already know that just gets expensive and time consuming with paying for videos, paying for mixing and mastering, paying for studio stuff, paying for promotion, paying for like it's a full-time job just trying to do music.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like. Plus having a full-time job, plus having a family, plus there's never a shortage of where my energy should be.
Yeah. So when you dropped, you and Church did Time to Waste.
Yeah, we did Time to Waste. What year was that? 2017?
It was 2020.
It came out in 2020? All right.
Yeah, and then you dropped it on the album. Because you dropped the album on April 2nd, 2021. But just before your album dropped, Stoner dropped the Stone Baby Sounds project.
Yeah, and that's a dope project.
You and Robin right now, which was on your album.
Shout out to her.
Was that the only song you were on there, or was you on something else?
I think that's the only one that I was on there.
Okay.
But shout out to Robin right now, man. So I've been a big fan of hers. I knew about her through Starlito. Yep, exactly.
Yep.
And I had reached out to her through Instagram, and this was back when Stoner had the small music row studio.
Yeah.
And I had reached out to her and asked her basically like, would you be willing to get on a song? And she was like flattered, bro. She was like, for real? Which was crazy to me, you know what I mean? And she came like after work. I think she's a nurse or something really awesome. She came after work, did a song. I think she did 2 songs with me. Best I Can Be, which is one of my most favorite songs I have. The song Best I Can Be is a song that still gives me chills. And she's just an amazing singer. And then did another song with me. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I'm sorry, I got terrible memory. But we did those songs, and I mean, she's just an amazing person, amazing singer, and like just a super kind soul, and was like so generous and so kind, and was like, yo, if you need me to redo anything, you know, like just incredibly kind. And she's just got the voice of an angel, you know, and I think she's only gotten bigger and better since then as well. And she's done some stuff like, you know, that one on Stone's album that you were just talking about. But yeah, like I just really known her through Starlito's music.
Yeah, and I was wrong, bro. The first song you and Leroy did was The End, 2019.
Yeah, that's a jam, bro.
Yeah, that's a jam.
That's a jam.
That's
why I was so surprised. I'm like, was that really the first song? Bro, I'm terrible. We're talking about my music career.
It was on your Appears On.
I got you. Yeah,
it was on Leroy's.
We're talking about my music career, and I have no idea.
Right.
I've got such a good memory.
Way, dude.
I've got such a good memory. It's scary. The End, yeah, that's a good song, bro.
I think that's the first thing. Let's see. Leroy dropped album number 1 September 1st.
I think, yeah, September.
Y'all's single for The End was October 11th. So it came out. I guess y'all recorded it after the album came out.
Yeah, and when did some point in there I appeared on one of Church's albums.
I can tell you that right now too.
The song was Dance with the Devil. It was him, Katie Noel.
Yeah, that's 2019.
And me, 2019. That right there was a super
That was
dope
on the
movie
Parachute
too.
album.
Yep, that was I mean, Church has always been incredibly kind.
September
like
24th.
he's like a next level person. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I could speak for hours on the type of character he has. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like if you happen like to break down in front of Church, he's gonna give you the car that he just bought. You know what I mean? Like he's that dude. Like on camera, off camera, he's that dude. Like, like I try my best not to complain in front of him because I'm like, oh yeah, my back hurts. He's like, oh bro, I'll buy a chiropractor clinic for you. And you're just like,
Yeah.
no, like it's cool. Like my back, I slept wrong. It's all right. Like
For
you know,
sure.
and he's a loving dude. Like
No,
he's
for sure.
just
That's
that
why he
guy.
does
Like
that.
yeah, exactly. Like he's that guy. But he asked me to be on his album, and ended up. I was actually on vacation with my family. I think we were in like Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
And Stoner called me like, "Yo, I know this is the last minute. I know you're out of town, but would you come get on this album? Like, we need it done by tomorrow," type thing. And I was like, "Hell yeah! Like, I'm on the way." You know what I mean? Like, my family understands. Yeah, like I've been trying to be a rapper forever. This is arguably the most successful rapper that I know, most successful musician that I personally know. And they're like, "Hey, will you be on my album?" Like, so I dropped everything. Like, drove right home, just went to Stone's, cut a verse, and then dipped. You know what I mean? And that was the Dance with the Devil song. Artists and all that stuff aside, like 2019 nearly killed me, dog. Like 2019 changed my life forever, bro. Like, I don't want to get too into detail, but you know what I mean? Like, I was doing my thing for sure, but 2019, I bought my wife a Tahoe, cashed out on a Tahoe, right? Because my wife was pregnant.
How long you been together?
So I actually met her like when I was on tour with Jelly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
She's not from here?
Nah, she's from Minnesota.
Oh, so y'all was doing a show up there?
Yeah, she was somewhere. I'm trying like.
I didn't mean to track it off.
That's part of your we were either Minnesota or somewhere, and we just started talking, and then we would just like call each other all the time. And, like, it was just like a little fling, like a texting, talking type thing. And then like a few months later, we were still talking all the time. And then I flew her out here to Tennessee, and basically that's all it took.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she flew in once, and then like the next thing you knew, we were out there in Vegas, like kicking it with Jelly and Bun. You know what I mean? Like it was just, and even then, like we hadn't even really been dating that long, and like like I take her to the airport, and then I'm back at Jelly's, and Jelly's like, "Yo, what do you want to do in Vegas? Like, we got the whole day," and I'm just like,
yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you're in love," and I'm like, "No, I'm not."
Yeah.
You know, he's like, "You're in love, Bubba. Like,
Yeah.
this is love, man." Like, and I was just like, "Oh, maybe I am." You know, like, so yeah, that's, I guess in like 2017, 2016 is when we first got together.
Yeah.
And it's been over since then, man. Like, I just knew she was the one. She was put up with my bullshit and loved me for me.
Yeah.
Out there in Vegas, like, we're out there at Jelly's house. You know what I mean? Like, she's obviously a fan of Jelly's music. Like, fan of my music. Like, we're out there. I'm like trying to spoil her. Like, anywhere you want to go in Vegas, whatever steakhouse, let's go. You want to go to the Louis V store? I'll buy you whatever bag. You want to go to the Gucci store? Like, let's buy them all. Like, let's go buy a Birkin bag. Like, let's do. And she's like, "No, let's go to Qdoba." You know what I mean? Like, just wants to walk around. Just wants to hang. Like, just loved me for me.
She doesn't care about all that.
Bro, she didn't care about none of the money.
Yeah.
And up until that point, everybody else around me only wanted the money.
No, that's why you was probably quick to do that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I was just like, "Oh, this is normal. Like, I'm trying to, you know, like flex with this girl."
Like, oh,
yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
he's going to spin the bag with us.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I was really hustling at the time, and it was like, that was the first time I'd ever had any type of money in my life. You know what I mean? Like, I come from, my birth certificate says trailer 36. You know what I mean? Like, I'm poor. You know what I mean? Like, trailer trash. You know, and like, you know what I mean? Like, that was the first time in my life that I had what I thought to be money. You know what I mean? Like, You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
wealth, but it was bread. You know what I mean? Like, it was.
Yeah.
And for this person not to want me to go spend thousands of dollars on her, it was just different. It was just like, what? You know what I mean? So.
What's your problem?
Yeah, you know what I mean? It was different. It was just like, why aren't you
Yeah.
impressed by this? Do you know what I mean? Because, like, at the
You
time.
like me for me?
Yeah,
No.
like, I don't even like me. Why do you
Yeah.
like me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so. Man, yeah, I knew right away that she was the one, bro. Like, she didn't, you know what I mean? Like, she liked me for me. She didn't care if I had money. She didn't care, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I was right away like, move to Tennessee. You don't have to work. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, man. Like, shout out my wife, man. She's the best.
Yeah,
for real, man. Like, she fits me well. We're definitely equally yoked. Like, she's way better than me. She makes me be my best self, and like, she's always accepted me for me. Like, when I was not living my best life.
Mm-hmm.
She was never one to judge me. She wasn't one to, like, you need to stop doing this. You need to quit doing, you need to start, you know what I mean? She was never that. Yeah. Never that, bro. Never that. Like, she was always one to encourage me, meet me where I'm at type, you know? And, I mean, really, like, she's the one that helped me to lose all the weight. So, going back to go forward real quick. So, 2019, I buy her that Tahoe. She's pregnant with our son. And we've got a daughter. And I'm like, yeah, I spend all my savings, buy this Tahoe. Fast forward a couple months, police are knocking on my door at 6 a.m. with a warrant to take a stolen Tahoe. That I guess I had bought a stolen Tahoe. Feds took it, so I'm out all this money.
Did you?
No, I didn't. Everything was cool. Everything was cool. Like, I bought it. I had a title, bill of sale, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? But I thought for sure I was going to jail. Like, that morning when it happened, bro. Chad, I thought I thought I was going. And I mean, because I've got plenty of friends that have just been caught driving stolen, you know, like their cousin stole the car and they're just driving in it and they're still in jail. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, or like, yeah, because it's like receiving stolen property.
Exactly, bro. And like,
but they weren't worried about that. Was it because it was a Fed case?
I really don't know, and I don't want to get too into it. Like, I'm thankful to the Lord how it played out.
For sure. Like,
but
ask questions type shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. But the way that it I'm very thankful. But it's like, yeah, like as it was happening, like I remember asking the guy, like, do I need to call like my lawyer? And he was just like, no, why? And I was just like, all right, like, you know what I mean, like. So God is good. God worked out. That police officer was probably the nicest police officer I've ever dealt with. Thank God. And the feds that he turned it over to were not nice in any way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't get anything out of it. I'm just out the money. Caused a whole lot of uproar. Lots of issues. You know what I mean? Like, it was not something that I wanted to be going through. And I was obviously out a ton of money. I cashed out a 2019 Tahoe in 2019. Spent a ton of my savings. You know what I mean? Like, it was like an investment for the family.
You just lost the bread.
Gone. See ya.
God, bro.
See ya.
That was a chunk of it.
See ya. 30,000 plus, you know, tags, titles, all that stuff, you know, state of Tennessee.
That's probably what a 2019 still costs now.
Yeah, you know.
Look,
yeah, and I mean, it happens. Like,
so what'd you do? After that, you just had to...
Got a different level of... it ignited my passion for wanting more and for wanting better. You know what I mean? So that was something that I didn't have any control over, and I don't like not having control. And that just turned the fire up in me, if you will. You know what I mean? So that was like end of 2019, going into 2020. So going into 2020, COVID starting. Mm-hmm. I just lost a Tahoe. Mm-hmm. Just lost a bunch of bread. Bro, also, like, hold on. If we're talking about 2019, okay?
Yeah.
So that happens, right? I lose the Tahoe. Like, 2 weeks later, I buy my wife another SUV. Cash out on that one. Like, 2 weeks after I buy this new SUV, right? My truck, the transmission goes out. Right? So it's like, can't catch a break, bro. So my transmission goes out in the truck. I'm, driving, I've got my old school pickup out there, right? I'm driving that around. While I'm driving that around, my wife calls me. She's like, hey, the check engine light just came on in my car, in my SUV, you know? So I'm like, that's crazy, that's annoying. So take it to the shop, motor's blown. Like, it's still working, it's still operating, but they're like, oh, it needs a new motor, you know what I mean? So I'm like, no way. It's got 100,008 miles. 100,008.
So it's not in warranty.
So it's 8 miles out of warranty, bro. I just lost the Tahoe. Just, you know what I mean? Like, it still stings. Like, I can, it's right there. You know what I mean? Still got the insurance card. Like, it's right there. Just bought this new SUV. Out of warranty, needs a new, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I cannot win for losing in 2019, Chad. You know what I mean? Like you'd think I'd have killed somebody and this was my karma coming back for it. But I promise I've always tried to be the best person I can be, bro. Yeah. So 2019 is just beating me, bro. It's just the devil trying to win, right? So get my wife's car fixed, third-party warranty. Buy the third-party warranties, guys. Buy them, okay? Got a new motor for her car for like $100 for the deductible. It was dope. But 2019 is going like that, right? Mm-hmm. Consistently downhill. Then COVID starts. I've got a 3-month-old son. He was born in January. COVID's like starting to ramp up in March, right?
How old's your daughter?
She's currently 9. So then she was like 7 or 8.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
So COVID's just starting to ramp up. Nobody wants to pay me to write music. You know what I mean? Like the little gigs that I did have, helping write music, stuff like nobody wants to do that all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Plus I'm hustling. Nobody wants to do that. You know what I mean? So I needed a way to figure out some money, like quick. You know what I'm saying? So I go and get a job. I still have that job. I went from pushing a floor grinder to now I'm the senior project manager for them. I'm the only one doing the bids. The you know what I mean? Like I'm their guy. You know what I mean? And that was just for me starting pushing out a piece of machinery. You know what I mean? But again, it's just making yourself valuable to those people. But that's when I started the jewelry thing too. Mm-hmm. So 2020, I just come off a year of losses.
Were you doing the weight loss at this point?
No. I was still large and in charge, you know, fat and sassy.
We're on the timeline. I'm just,
No. Still fat and sassy, living life, eating good, you know what I mean? And basically COVID started and I need to make money. I'm working this full-time job and all the news is saying is like, basically if you're overweight, you're going to die. And if you have asthma, you're going to die. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, I can't control my asthma. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just turn that off. I can't just be like, well, let me take this asthma off. You know what I mean? But I can do something about being fat. You know what I mean? So, and I'd been big my whole life, bro. It wasn't like, oh, after high school, I quit playing football. Like, my whole life, I've been big, dog. Like, people don't even know what husky means. Like, I was wearing husky sizes before that. You know what I mean? Like, I've been big my whole life. I was always big. Coaches pitch baseball. I was wearing an extra large shirt. Like, I still know the story vividly because the coach still probably tells it to this day. But coach gets a call like, hey, you only get one shirt per coach. There's only 2 coaches, but we've got 3 adult extra larges. He's like, oh, yes, from my first baseman. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm first grade, second grade. Like, I've always been big, you know? So COVID comes around. My wife and I start doing some keto, the ketogenic diet, you know? And I basically just cut sugar out. Like, a lot of keto is just cutting out the sugar and, like, low carbs and stuff like that. But I just cut sugar out of my diet. And forever, bro, I've just been like, you know, at night I've got the munchies. So I'm just going to, in the morning I wouldn't eat anything. You know, like, I've been fasting, like what people are super trendy and into now, like these, you know, fasting for 18 hours. Like, I did that my whole life. Like, it was, you know what I mean? Like, I never ate breakfast. I would like start eating at like 2 or 3, eat a big unhealthy lunch, drink soda all day, drink Gatorade all day, eat dinner, unhealthy, as many carbs as I could, whatever I wanted. You know what I mean? Like, I had money. I'm young and single. Like, I'm going to Texas Day, Brazil 4 times a week. You know what I mean? Like, they knew me. You know what I mean? Like, it was, you know what I mean? Like, it was a fun time. But like, I was, you know, just big. Like, bro, just unhappy, super unhealthy, super depressed. Just trying to fill all those voids with food and whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and so really just cutting the sugar out, bro, and getting control of like what I was eating when I was like, the first things I did was cut the sugar out. And I like stopped eating after a certain time. So like at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., I quit eating. And before, like, it'd be 11 p.m. and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go eat Taco Bell. Then I'm going to go to the gas station. I'm going to get some Little Debbie's. I'm going to get like a bag of these sweet candies. I'm going to get a bag of chips, obviously. I'm going to get, 2 of the big green teas. I'm going to get, a big Gatorade, a soda, you know what I mean? Like, and then I'm eating, drinking all that stuff at 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. and then going to sleep and then wondering why I weigh 320 pounds. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, so basically I cut all that stuff out. And I was working a physical job for the first time in a long time, like really since the barbecue gig, you know what I mean? Like pushing around essays, walking like 4 or 5 miles a day with work. And, that's how I lost a lot of the weight. Like I lost 150 pounds. I've gained a little bit of it back. Like right now I'm at like 140 pounds down, 135, 140 pounds down. But yeah, like that really changed.
How long did that take? It was like a year?
About a year, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, 6 months you could see a difference. 8 months you could see more of a difference. A year it was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
And because it was the pandemic, you weren't seeing people all the time. Yeah. So like, I'm just going to work, grinding my ass off, literally grinding my ass off, and then not eating sugar and stuff. So like, people wouldn't see you for a few months, and then they pop up and be like, holy shit, bro! Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it, like that's really been a huge thing for me. Like that really changed my mental state. That really changed physically how I felt. That really changed a lot of things. And it really helped me to see like what else possible. Like the way that I said music, seeing music, what was possible with music. Like if you put your mind to it, put those 10,000 hours into it. Like losing the weight, bro, that was something that really has unlocked something new in me. Like forever, I've just assumed like, oh, I'm the big guy. I'll be that forever. Like it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like I really had it in my mind, like I could never fit into a size large shirt, no matter what. Even if I had gotten down to 200 pounds, oh, like look how wide my shoulder, like I'm just big boned. Like, you know what I mean? I'm never going to be a small guy. Like, and then once I started losing the weight, I was like, oh, no, I'm like a normal person. Like I'm a normal sized person. Yeah. I've just been big my whole life. You know what I mean? Like, and it really unlocked in me that like I can do anything I put my mind to. Like, and that sounds corny or cheesy or like a Bible verse, but it's truly like, whatever you put your mind to, like you can do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, think about things that you don't think that I could be. A rapper, a jeweler, you know what I mean? Like anything that you think that I can't do, like watch me. You know what I mean? And it's like, not even in a cocky way, but just like I'm confident. Whatever you put your mind to, like I know I can do it. You know what I mean? Like, with the jewelry, bro. Like, can I tell that story?
Yeah, go ahead.
So a lot of people ask me how I got into the jewelry. Like, first and foremost, shout out to Jimmy Boy. That's who made this piece. And I bought this from him.
You got some of your pieces up here to show too?
Yeah, I got a couple of them up here. I was just a customer, really. You know what I mean? I was buying jewelry from Jimmy Boy. I think he first really started, like he had been helping and working with Iceman Nick for years. You know what I mean? He's come up. He's got an amazing story. But in 2017, he was really starting to launch his thing. Like he was getting his name out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I bought a piece through like a mutual friend. And then bought a few more pieces. And I bought my wife's engagement ring. You know what I mean? Like I was shopping with him. And big fan of his stuff. He was making stuff for all the big rappers and all the celebrities and stuff like that. And man, like he would just post and be like, you know, I'm the streets jeweler. You know what I mean? Because he was a big time drug dealer. You know, they called him Pill Gates. And he just switched over to jewelry, bro. Like, you know, he made it look easy and was just killing it. You know, and he was always talking about like, man, anybody can do this. I'll teach you how to do it. Like, and you still won't beat me. You know what I mean? Like, just because he'll work harder than you. You know what I mean? That's what his claim to fame. That's what he'll tell you. You know what I mean? Like, and I heard him say it like 1,000 times, and then one time it really just kind of clicked. You know, like, oh, maybe he's talking to me. Like, I'm spending all this money on jewelry. Yeah. Like, I was always helping people anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be like helping your buddy Lex find some jewelry. You know what I mean? Like, he wants it. So, like, oh, I can help you source something. You know, like, I was already spending all this time and money doing it. Yeah. So then in 2020, I was like, I've wanted to do this for a long time. Like, I've got all these, I didn't have the connections, but I've got all these, like, I already know prices. I know all these things because I'm so invested in it already as a customer. I've got a ton of people around me that want jewelry. Like, I should just try it, you know what I mean? And Be Loose, shout out Be Loose again, man. That was really somebody that believed in me and that really pushed me to start the jewelry thing and to like go out on my own and to really, you know, like give it a try. And, you know, shout out to him. So me and B, like how the jewelry got going, I went to every place in Nashville that I could think of, first of all. Like every jewelry store that I had ever tried to shop at, heard people shop at, Google ones, you know what I mean, like little Mexican gold marts, like anything you could think of, bro. I went to probably 30 different jewelry stores in Nashville and asked them all the same thing, like, hey, I've got 10 orders, and I'm wearing a gang of jewelry with me, you know what I mean? And it's like, I've got all these orders, I've got 5 orders right now, ready to cash out. I just need an opportunity, you know what I mean, like, work with me. And everybody was giving me high prices, crazy prices, like, nobody was giving me a chance. You know what I mean? If they'd talk to me, they weren't giving me a chance, or they just didn't want to talk to me. So I was like, not discouraged, but a little bit discouraged because, like, again, I've driven to 30 jewelry stores around town. Nobody wants to rock with me. Yeah. And I'm literally saying, like, I'd love to bring you more business. I've got 10 people that want to shop with me, and they're just, you know, it's just like rap all over again. Just like,
I was just going to say that. It's just like, who's this white boy think he is?
The same exact thing, you know what I mean? But in those moments, I thrive. Yeah. You know what I mean? In those moments, I'm like, let me show you real quick who I am, you know? Yeah. So, exhaust all the Nashville options. Jimmy Boy, he's out in Houston. B. Loose, that's where he's from. He's telling me, he's like, yo, there's this place, man, all the places. And I already knew, like, all these jewelry places are all connected. Like, not connected, but it's like, think about there being a jewelry store in Opry Mills Mall. And then there's actually 100 stores in Opry Mills Mall, and then there's a big building next door that has 100 more. You know what I mean? Like, they're all in the same area of Houston, if you will, you know? So I just got in the car with B-Loose, and we drove to Houston. 12 hours. You know what I mean? And get to Houston, go to this mall, talk to every jewelry shop there, go into the jewelry building, talk to everybody there. Like, the first few floors are retail. The floors, like, 3 through 12.
When you're going in, you're just telling them the same thing you were saying.
Same exact pitch. And I was getting better pricing, you know what I mean? Like, they were giving me a little bit more of an opportunity, but I still wasn't meeting the guy yet, you know what I mean? Like, nobody was like, yeah, look, like, I see your vision, let's run it, you know what I mean?
Throwing stuff at the wall till it sticks kind of shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly. Like, that's kind of my principle with everything in life. It's like, let's figure, like, if it doesn't make sense, like, let's figure out how to make it make sense or quit doing it, you know? So, bro, to be real with you, I was, like, exhausted with it. Like, I'd been out there for, like, 6 hours. We drove there 12 hours, and then I'm walking around this building for 6 hours after I'd already been at the mall the day before, meeting all those people, and nobody wants to work with me. You know what I mean? Not that they don't want to work with me, but it's like the pricing that they're giving me is, like, this wasn't worth my time coming to Houston. Like, so I'm, like, kind of discouraged. I get on the elevator, and I'm riding the elevator, and some of the same people that I just been talking to, like, at the jewelry stands and the jewelry stores, they're talking to me again, but this time, like, much kinder, you know what I mean? I was just like, I think I work here or something, you know what I mean? So, elevator doors open, they get off, more people get on, and I'm just like, hey, how y'all doing? They're like, oh, good, you know? I'm like, who do you use for your settings? They're like, oh, I use Chad over on floor or whatever, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, cool. So I rode the elevator for 2 hours. There's 4 elevators. I rode each elevator for 30 minutes, you know, or, you know, just about talking to people. Hey, who do you use for this? Who do you use for this? Who do you use for this? Taking notes on my phone the whole time. So, like, 2 hours go by. I'd been ready to give up. That's why I got on the elevator. I was going back to my hotel. Like, this sucks. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get some food, call it a day. Instead, I'm riding the elevator. It clicks. I'm like, let me, you know, start talking to people. So then a couple names keep coming up. So I'm like, cool. What floor are they on? Like, oh, they're on floor such and such. So I go up to that floor, go into a random room, like, hey, I'm looking for Wesley. They're like, nah, he's 2 doors down. So I'm like, hey, I'm looking for Wesley. He's like, yeah, what's up? I'm like, everybody here says you're the man with jewelry. I need to get plugged in with you. And he just kind of like laughs, like an older Vietnamese dude. And so he starts talking to me, and like, while I'm talking to people, are walking in with like trays full of pieces, you know what I mean? Like, and he's just like, oh, sorry, I can't work with you this week. I'm sorry. Like, tell your boss I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, turning down work right in front of me. So he's like, so where are you from? He's like, who do you work with? I'm like, I drove here from Nashville. And he's like, do what? I'm like, I drove here from Nashville. Like, I'm just, you know, he's, oh, so you got a jewelry store in Nashville? I'm like, no, I don't got a jewelry store. I don't have none of that. Like, I'm just trying to get into it. You know what I mean? He's like looking at my jewelry. He's like, we're talking. He's like, you know a lot. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just looking for an opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, I've got a few pieces I'd like to do, this and that. And he's like, man, I really don't need any more customers. As you can see, I'm turning people down, some of my machines down, but like, I'll do one piece with you. I get a good energy from you. You know, he's like, I get a real good energy from you. I like talking to you. I'll do one piece with you and we can see how it goes, you know? So that was in 2020, man. I did a piece for Be Loose.
When he says he'll do a piece with
like
you,
one pendant.
so he'll basically, you'll bring him the, like, Be Loose's idea.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So,
okay.
yeah. So basically I bring the idea like, hey, I want this pendant. I want it to be 3 inches by 2 inches. I want it to be in this karat gold, this color gold. I want it to be this thick. I want this style of diamonds, this clarity of diamond. You know what I mean? Like, and the further that I've grown in the process, obviously the more that I know now and the more hands-on I am with them and stuff like that. But yeah, that was it, man. Like, he gave me an opportunity. We did one piece together and then I was ready. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready. I wanted to quit my job. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready. And we finished that one piece and he's like, oh man, I'm busy. Like, I don't think I could keep, you know, like, I don't think I can do another piece right now. You know, thanks anyway. And bro, I was crushed. Like, I was like, man, God gave me this opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, I went out there, it all worked out perfectly. I'm on the elevator. You know, like, I'm thinking this whole story in my head, like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? But I'm just like, oh, okay, man, I appreciate the opportunity. You know, didn't burn the bridge. You know what I mean? Just like, cool, you know? And then like a month later, I'm super discouraged still. You know what I mean? Like, working a job that I don't like. You know, I'm thankful for the opportunity, but I've never been one. Like, bro, I applaud people that can do a job for 40 years. I really do. Or a person that can live in the same place for 40 years. Like, I genuinely applaud that. But it's not me.
Yeah.
Not me. If I, 3 weeks into a job, I'm like, well, I've mastered this. And not that I've mastered it, but it's like, I see all that this ever has to offer. Like, I will bash my brains in if this is what I'm going to do for 40 years.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 3 weeks in. So that's no diss to my job or to any job. It's just like, I'm not that guy. Like, I'm, you know what I mean? It's forever. I've known, like, I'm even in college. They're like, what are you here for? I'm like, just for the hell of it, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know I'm not going to have a regular job. I'm going to be some type of entertainer. I'm going to own a business. I'm going to be doing something other than working a 40-hour a week, hating myself type gig, you know? And, yeah, you know, so the jewelry, like, he called me like a month later. I was like, yo, you still want to work? And I was like, hell yeah, man, I got pieces ready to go. And it's never slowed down since. And that was the 2020-ish, you know what I mean? Like,
what do you think made him call you back?
Man, he just liked my energy, bro. Like, we talk about,
had some time.
Yeah, like, things had slowed down for him. Like, he does he does work for everybody. Like, what's up, girl? If y'all can't see him, this is my dog in the video.
Yeah, man.
This is my girl, Casey. She's my therapy dog. She's the best.
Great. She's awesome, yeah.
She's the best. She likes to wake up to take naps.
Hell yeah.
Just like me, man.
That's the life,
That's
man.
my girl, yeah. But no, just, I think he likes my energy, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm just like, I'm young and hungry, and like, what he has said is like, I'm chasing the opportunity, where like, he works in a building full of people that have the opportunity and aren't trying to take it. And meanwhile, I'm in a whole nother state, and I'm driving to him trying to, you know what I mean? Like, it's just whatever it is, bro. Like, whatever it is you want to do, you can do. Like, there's a million people doing interviews, but your shit's popping. You know why? It's because you're passionate about it and you're doing it well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, like, it irritates me. Like, when people say, like, oh, like, there's too many podcasts. Don't start a podcast. Like, look at Bunny.
Yeah.
Like, 5 years ago, if I'd have told her, like, one day you're going to have a podcast, she'd have been like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, like the mindset of like, oh, don't do that. There's too many people doing that. Like, that's what so many people talk about. You know, there's a million jewelry stores, bro. It's the pandemic, bro. It's this. Like, same with rapping. Same with weight loss. Like, people always tell you how you shouldn't do it or why you shouldn't do it.
And the people that are saying that are people that haven't succeeded doing it.
Period.
Or just don't have the guts to try it themselves. Or
you know, and sometimes it's out of love. Sometimes it's really like, hey, I don't want to see my buddy Chad get hurt, so I'm telling him, I'm thinking I'm protecting him, but in reality, I'm just trying to protect my, you know what I mean? Like, it's a, so yeah, the jewelry thing was really like, I just wanted to prove people like it was possible. You know what I mean? Like so many people that I would tell, like, yeah, I'm trying to do this jewelry thing. They would just not like laugh at me, but just kind of be like, I could just see in their eyes. You know what I mean? Like the same thing as when you're telling people like, yeah, I do rap, and they're just like, you do, you know, and then they watch a video and they're like, oh, like you do rap, you know, like and it's the same people, and I'm like, yeah, I want to make jewelry, and then people will see like a piece and they're like, oh, like you really do, like that's a piece, like that's something like a famous rapper would have, and it's like, like, you know, and shout out my guy Wes, that's my bench jeweler, like he's really doing like. He's been in it as long as Johnny Dang has. Like Johnny Dang went into the grills, he went into the pendants. You know what I mean? Like he 3D prints and does casting and setting for like some of the biggest jewelers in the game. You know what I mean? Like the people out there in Houston. You know what I mean? Like Zoe Frost and these other people like that are big jewelers. Like they're knocking on his door as well to be like, hey, how to solving this problem? You know what I mean? Like he's really the guy. Like actually, I'll tell you another funny story. Zoe Frost. Shout out Zoe Frost. I don't know him. I've met him once. A big goal to work with him. But I was, I guess this was in like 2021. I was catching a flight to Houston, and that morning I DM'd Zoe Frost, which is a big time celebrity jeweler, if anybody doesn't know. And he operates out of Houston. Any like famous basketball player, college athlete in the last 2-3 years at like a draft, anything like that, that's got a massive chain, 9 out of 10 chances Zoe Frost made it. Like he's the guy with that stuff, right? Like all the balls, like LeVar Ball, LaMelo, all of them, like you know what I mean? Like he's the guy. Yeah. And so I messaged him about doing a Pokemon piece that Church was talking about, maybe wanting to do a Pokemon piece. So I was messaging Zoe Frost, and he was responding, like messaging me back about sizes and this, and I was like fanboying out, bro. Like I remember telling people like, bro, this guy's Zoe Frost, like, oh, we're talking about doing a piece together, bro. Like it's my first years of, in the industry, and I might do a piece with this guy. You know what I mean? Like real deal, like fanboying out about it, right? So fast forward like 8 hours later, I'm in Houston in my dude's office, right? In my guy Wes's office, and knock on the door and like look up, and it's Zoe Frost. And he's like, oh, I'm with the client right now. I'm like, he can come in, bro. You know what I mean? Like so he comes in, and hey, can asking him to help him with something or asking his opinion on something, and I'm like, yo, like I was talking to you this morning, and he's like, oh, that's what's up, like good to meet you, blah blah. And he leaves, and my guy Wes is like, yeah, oh, you know him? And I'm like, no, I don't know him, but like I was messaging him this morning, like I might do a piece with him. And he's like, oh yeah, like I do a bunch of stuff for him. And it like clicked to me right then, like I'm trying to like get to the guy, you know what I mean? I'm trying to like.
And you're already. I'm sitting across from the guy. The guy's the guy that calling me like, hey, you still at work? Like. Oh, so this is the same guy?
Same dude, bro. Okay. Yeah, like it's my guy, bro, Wesley. Like he's the man, bro. He's like in his 70s, in his 60s, Vietnamese dude, like super successful. You know what I mean? But like he's the bench jeweler for all these major people, but he doesn't do his own thing. You know what I mean? Like he's not making jewelry and trying to sell it. You know what I mean?
So when Zoe Frost does a piece for one of the Ball brothers.
Yeah, and now. There's a chance he works on it, but Zoe Frost is at this point big enough that he's got his own team. Yeah. But they're on the same floor, and it's like my guy's the OG there. Yeah. You know what I mean? It'd be like.
I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like not to dumb it down so much, but it'd be like me going to Jelly Roll for advice on music. You know what I mean? It's like
for sure.
He's the guy. You know what I mean? Or it's like no matter how big I get, like he's the guy. You know what I mean? It's like so same with there. Like out there in Houston, like he's the GOAT with the jewelry, and like that's who's doing all my stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's. So that was a big moment for me, realizing like I'm trying to climb this ladder to meet the guy, and realizing like, oh, like this is the guy. You know what I mean? So the jewelry, man, it's just been like a huge opportunity. Like I would roughly say it's probably like the interviews for you. Like it's not something that I expected was going to pop off for me. You know what I mean? Like it was just like maybe I can pay a couple bills with doing this, and now people are like, oh, so are you not going to do music? Like you're the jeweler, and it's like, oh man, like I'm doing whatever pays bills. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, no, it's really just kind of like popped off in the last year. Like I'm at this point where I should probably quit my job and just focus on that, because I could probably make way more money and really grow that, and that's what I've been trying to do. But I got a third child on the way, and like stepping away from guaranteed money versus, you know what I mean? It's like I'm gonna do it in the next few weeks. You know what I mean? Like just quit. Hopefully I do it before my boss watches this interview and hears that I'm going to quit. But no, it's just, I mean, the Lord is good, and thankfully, you know, the jewelry's been going well enough for the last 2 years that, like, I've really not sought out any orders. You know what I mean? Like, I'm actively still turning down people just because I don't have the time for it. Like, it's just me. Like, that's another thing that people don't realize. They think, like, I have a jewelry store, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's just me. Like, I'm just, if you want a piece, like, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be $1,000 piece or $100,000 piece. Like, I can help you get it. You know what I mean? Like, last week I saved somebody $11,000 on their wedding ring. You know what I mean? It took me a few minutes, like, to make that happen for them. You know what I mean? It's like, so that's really the goal, is to keep growing the jewelry and hopefully keep doing the music and growing that. You know what I mean? Like, my Spotify steadily growing, YouTube views are steadily growing.
You're over 30,000 monthly listeners on there.
Yeah, like right around 35,000, and then the song with Church on Spotify, the No Time to Waste, that on Spotify just hit 1 million views like a couple weeks ago, which is super dope. This is the first song I've ever had to hit 1 million, which is super dope. It's like a real humbling thing to think that like 1 million people, or like it's been played 1 million times. You know, like it's just a wild thing to think of. Like, I was thinking about that for you the other day, like seeing how many views you had on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, man.
Like, just to sit there and break that down into like minutes. And so, like, that's just like, it's a cool feeling, right? You know what I mean? It's like,
bro. It's crazy.
Something that you've created. You know what I mean? Like, I think about that too, and like I see like a song that Church has put out or Jelly's put out with like 25 million for, you know, you're just like
Save Me's at 125 million views on
YouTube. Bro, like, just think about that for a minute, bro. 125 million times.
Over 100 million. Like,
bro, like that makes my heart so happy, bro. That like somebody that I know created something from their heart, and people love it so much they've played it 125 million times. Like, that's mind blowing, bro. Like,
that's crazy.
Like, I get giddy to think that my shit's been played 1 million times. So 120, like, like I just can't even fathom it yet. Like, it's amazing, man.
Yeah. So what's next for Chucky V?
Man, I think growing the jewelry for sure. Growing the music. Like, I'd say this time next year, just doing jewelry and music full time. And man, like, just growing as a person, growing as a father, growing as a family man, growing as a businessman, like growing as an artist. I never want to put myself in a box. You know what I mean? So some of the music that I've got coming out with Stoner is definitely like, man, I don't really know how to describe it. Like, maybe pop music or soul music or blues. Like, I'm getting more and more comfortable with myself and just making music that I want to hear versus music that I think other people want to hear. Yeah. And I think that's going to make a huge difference. You know, I'm really excited for the music that I got coming out with Stoner. I've got some really dope singles and stuff coming out in the next few months, and videos to go along with them.
Dope. And too, before we finish the interview, like you dropped 2 singles with DJ Cliffy D.
Yep.
Be Like Me.
Yep, Be Like Me, and then we did just recently we did On for the Night.
On for the Night.
Me and Screenshot. Yeah. Shout out Screenshot down in Florida. Super good people. I met him did a show for Cliffy for his birthday. Opened up for Afro Man like a year or 2 ago.
Dope.
Yeah, super dope, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. Cliffy's always been one to like show nothing but love. Like, yo, I've got a birthday show. Come do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
We got a small interview with him on Tailgates and Tall Boys and with O-Rig, but the audio was messed up, so we couldn't use it. But we're going to have him and O-Rig come on for a full episode.
Hell yeah.
For the podcast soon.
Hell yeah. Man, yeah, same with, like, he's always shown love, bro. Stoner has always shown nothing but love, bro. Like, if I can do anything, man, like, I want this interview to show that, like, people like Jelly that plugged me in with Stoner, you know what I mean, that he believed in me very early, took me under his wing. But Stoner, well, he didn't know me from anybody, and he gave me time then. And then as he's grown, you know what I mean, like, multi-platinum producer, you know what I mean, like, I no longer had a studio with him, you know what I mean, like, he has no reason to keep working with me or to keep trying to bring me along, and he always is trying to promote me, trying to build me up, trying to make me a better artist, trying to, you know, like, man, like, he's just, Stoner's the GOAT, man, for sure. Like, there's a reason why Jelly loves him, and it's because they got a rap album in the works too, man. Yeah, bro, I can't wait to hear it, man.
Want to hear Jelly rap again?
Boy.
It's definitely going to be a thing, and Stoner, I think, produced the whole record.
Yeah, man, I'm excited
I heard
for
skeletons of it last year with him and Stoner at a studio session that week that he cut Son of a Sinner
Oh, yeah.
and Dead Men Walking and all the songs.
Historic week, bro.
We were there to see him do a few of them, but
Historic
the
week,
night before
man.
4th of July, me and him and Stoner and my lady Mel, and then a couple other people were there, and he let me hear what they had for their rap album.
Back then.
Yeah, back last June, July, and it was just skeletons of songs, but hooks.
But it was heater. It was heater.
It was heat. Every one of them were heat.
Nah, man, they've got a chemistry that's just kind of unmatched. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they go together really well. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, just shout out Stone, man. Like, he's always gone above and beyond to push me and promote me and to help me. Like, you know, he's just the guy. Like, we've become really good friends. Like, and you know, like I look up to him now as like. As a father and as a husband and as a producer, you know what I mean? Like all these things, like he's thriving now, bro. Like, you know, just bought his first house. Like he's doing great. Like, and to see that, like that makes my heart so happy, bro. Like, you know, same with Jelly. Like Jelly really took me under his wing, and to see him now, like I thought he was thriving then, but to see him now thriving, it's like, man, like, I just don't know somebody more deserving of like. That's put in the hours, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he's definitely done that.
It's easy for people that have just heard a song of his or two now to be like, oh, look at this guy out of the blue, this new guy.
Yeah.
This new guy just started doing music. And you're like, no, he might have just started putting out country music, but he's been doing music since forever. You know what I mean? Like, he's definitely one of the goats here. Like, I definitely remember, like, he's just, it's hard to outwork somebody like Jelly. Same with Church, bro. Like, you get in the studio with Church and, like, first, I've never seen somebody write music as fast as Church does. Like, it makes you feel like you shouldn't write music. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever been around somebody like that? To where you're like, oh, I do this too, and then they do it, and you're like, oh, I should not play basketball, I guess. Like,
I'm gonna be honest. Leroy writes music like that.
Yeah, bro. Leroy for sure. Yeah.
Like he's gotten in a groove where, whether it's rap, rock, country, he can, and it's not, and the stuff that he pins down is not basic stuff. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, I see what you're saying with Church for sure.
No, yeah, and for sure Leroy's the same way, man. But like, Church is the first person. Like, I'll be sitting there working on my verse for like an hour, you know, get it done because I want it to be perfect. You know what I mean? Church will come downstairs, like the what's our song?
No Time to Waste?
Yeah, that one. We were at his house for that, just kind of like out of the blue. I was there for a studio session with Stoner and him at his house. They were like wrapping up, and Church is like, yeah, you want to do a song together? I'm like, hell yeah, you know what I mean? So he's like, all right, I'm going to go upstairs for a minute. Like, y'all figure out a beat, something like that, you know? So we figure out a beat. I come up with like half the hook. I'm like right at the halfway point of the hook, you know what I mean? Like, been writing for like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He like walks down, hears like part of it. He's like, oh, what do you got? Like, spit the first half of it, and like, play it one more time, and then just he completes the second half of it, and I'm like, all right, I guess that's the hook, you know, like super dope hook. He's like, all right, work on your verse. I'll be right back, you know.
Yeah.
Comes back like an hour later. I've got my verse. He's like, oh, you mind if I put mine down? I hadn't even been listening to the beat, bro. Hadn't even been listening to the beat. Comes back downstairs.
Crazy.
Just hears me listen to the beat once or twice through. Is like, you mind if I go? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. Puts his verse down. Like, just a wild situation. Yeah, like just a impressive type individual to work with, man. Yeah. For sure.
Man, I appreciate you, dog. This has been a really dope interview.
Bro, I appreciate you, man. I feel like I could talk for hours. I feel like I probably didn't say some of the stuff I wanted to, but man, it's been such an honor, bro. Like, you have no idea. I appreciate you allowing me to have this format, this platform to talk, man. And the fact that you'd even, the fact that you'd even want me to be on here means a lot, dude. Like, yeah, man. Lots of love to you, my dude.
For sure, man.
You mean a whole lot to me, man. I'm rooting for the channel. I want to get as many people as possible to get interviews on here, and definitely to watch it, man. Hopefully, I did it justice.
Oh, dude, it was a great interview.
Hopefully, people are interested, intrigued.
We'll put all your socials on there too, like for people to stream your music, and we'll put the YouTube channel with the videos and the Instagram. If they want to holler at you about, whether it's jewelry or just to follow you in general.
Anything, just tell me that my teeth are too wide. I don't care, man. Just holler at me about anything, man. I'm super grateful, super thankful to you for the opportunity, and anybody that's still watching at this point, really, I'm super thankful for. I mean, I'm eternally grateful for people that stream my music and, you know, subscribe to my stuff. Like, you already know, like, I've been doing this for a long time, so it really means a lot when people support me, when people go out of their way to tell me, you know, to encourage me, you know what I mean? Because, yeah, you know, support local people, support local artists, and, you know, keep encouraging people, because it really, really means a lot to me when people tell me, you know, they rock with my music, or this song, you know, touched them in this way, or, you know, this song got them through something, you know, like, it really, really means a lot to artists when you tell them that. So, yeah, man, I'm just super thankful for this opportunity, and super thankful for all the people that support me and, you know, view my stuff and promote my stuff, and even people that dislike it, you know, I'm thankful for them too, because, you know, I'm the type of person that likes to overcome stuff, and, you know, so if you doubt me, I'm very thankful for that, you know, like, wish you well, but, you know, I'm going to do it, you know, I'm going to put the hours in. And, you know, people all the time ask me about, like, the jewelry or the music, whatever it is, like, oh man, like, I could do that. You could do that, you know what I mean? Like, I just gave you Wes. I told you where to find him. Told you what floor to find him. I give you his phone number.
But are you gonna?
You're not gonna put in the same energy that I'm gonna put. You're not gonna put in the same work that I'm gonna put in. I give you Stoner's number. I give you your number. I give you anybody you want's number. The difference is you're not gonna put in the same work that I'm gonna put in. You're not gonna bring the same energy that I'm gonna bring. Like, and it's not that I'm better than anybody. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, like, I'm the best at being me. Just like Chad's the best at being Chad. So, like, once I realized to embrace me, to be the best me, to make myself valuable to people, that's when I realized, like, that's the key. You know what I mean? Like, being you and being you to the fullest, like, that's how you succeed. You know what I mean? So that's how I've succeeded, at least, being me.
Man.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I thank you so much for the opportunity, bro. It really means a lot.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, dude. And like I said, y'all be sure to subscribe to the channel and follow Chucky V.
Give me some follows. Chucky Velvet on pretty much everything. The Velvet Touch jewelry. I'm sure Chad will put all these beautiful links below.
Yeah, they're in the description box. So
follow me on Spotify, YouTube, all those things. This time next year, you'll definitely know more about me. Definitely have more music out, more content, and yeah, I appreciate you.
Yeah.